Today we're driving the 2024 Mercedes-Benz AMG GT63 SE Performance. This has 831 horsepower, 1,032 pound-feet of torque. We've been driving a lot of different AMG products recently. The GT63, the SL63, both of which are old school. They have engines without any electrification.
That's right.
There isn't even a 48-volt mild hybrid system in that. And this is electrified. So it has about a 200 horsepower electric rear motor and about a 600 horsepower gasoline engine, making 800 horsepower combined. This drives very much like an EV. It's responsive, it's quick, you just have a V8 soundtrack, and in many ways it's similar to the Corvette E-Ray we drove a little while ago. So smaller battery pack that can charge very quickly. I believe it's only 6.1 kilowatt hours. You've got a battery meter right down here. You can charge that battery with the engine in race mode. And right now, as you can hear, it's off. So we're not making any noise. But we can
now we are.
give it a little bit of juice from the accelerator pedal and it'll turn on. A bunch of different drive modes: Comfort, Sport, Sport Plus, Race, Electric, and then battery hold, which is very clever, as well as an individual mode. We're gonna leave this, we'll just leave it in Sport Plus for now, so we can hear the exhaust while we're walking you guys around this GT63. I'm here with TheTopher.
Good morning.
You've spent a bunch of time in this car this week.
I did. I drove it to Chicago. I put like 600 miles on it, so
cool.
Familiar.
What kind of fuel economy did you get?
22.
Not bad.
Yeah,
not bad.
The EPA actually hasn't rated this car yet, so that's the official rating. You're welcome.
Okay.
22 highway.
You heard it here. From TheTophers.
That's right.
All right, let's walk you guys around this. This is painted in signature sunburst yellow, a $6,500 color option. Honestly, from the outside, this looks very similar to older GT63s, just with a whole new powertrain. And that kind of translates to the interior too. We have previous generation AMG switchgear, which I kind of like. It's very, very physical. Lots of buttons and controls, even though they are kind of all their own mini screens. It's a nice looking interior. As tested, this is $222,000. It's not cheap, but it's only another 22 grand for an extra couple hundred horsepower, right? Yeah. So
And like 400 pound-feet of torque.
400 pound-feet of torque. You know what this weighs? You know what the curb weight?
5,200 pounds.
Okay, so it's about 1,000 pounds heavier than the GT63 we drove a couple weeks ago.
Just about exactly 1,000.
Okay, all right. So a lot of torque, a lot of power, a lot of weight. You do see a little bit of a hump in the back where that battery pack lives, right there. Yeah. So it does impede on cargo space.
Takes up
slightly.
About a cubic foot.
Okay, that's not terrible though, because this is a pretty big rear trunk area.
Yeah.
And this is a plug-in hybrid. Goes right in the butt, right here.
Yeah, it won't let you open it while the car's running.
Ah, okay, fair enough.
But that is where you plug it in.
Yeah. Quad exhaust tips. Do we have some adjustability with this spoiler? It's kind of hard to tell.
Yeah, so this car has the AMG aerodynamics package. Normally this would have some active aero that pops up like we saw on the white GT63 that we drove.
Yep.
But this has the optional aero pack, so it gets you the fixed rear spoiler, as they call it, fixed. And then you get some extra kind of aero bits, flicks on the front and things.
Nice. Front splitter.
Yep.
Carbon ceramic brakes. I drove one of these, well, it was a previous gen GT63 a few years ago.
The red one.
The red one. Oh my gosh, that car just blew me away. I couldn't believe the performance that thing has, and this just cranks it up a notch. It looks stunning. Love these wheels. Let's check out the back seat. It is only a 4-seater, and each passenger kind of gets their own bucket seat.
You have bolstering.
Yeah. This is very nice. I love the matte carbon fiber. The screens look good. The aluminum on everything looks good. This is a really high quality interior.
It's pretty.
And I feel like this has a bit more space inside than a lot of the other 4-door coupes in this class.
Headroom. I mean, I can sit up straight, 5'11", and I've got probably another inch to go.
This is pretty good. Definitely more room than the Taycan, but I'm 5'10". This is my driving position. I have a ton of room in front of my legs. This yellow is stunning. Lots of options on this car. We'll put everything in detail in the description for you guys. There it is. Handcrafted AMG V8. So glad this still has a V8. I am kind of nervous, excited for AMG's future with the new C63 having a 4-cylinder. It's great that they're still offering these engines because they are just amazing. The 4-liter Biturbo is one of my favorite engines in a modern car. I think ultimately the question here is, do you get the E-Performance for the crazy numbers, the insane torque, or do you just kind of go old school and go full internal combustion engine and get the non-E-Performance, the GT63? Let's go drive it and see if we can answer that question. I will admit, it is early in the morning, and for once, I'm not super awake. I'm still in eco mode. So we're gonna use this car and use this driving experience as a morning shot of espresso. Some German espresso. Let's walk you guys around this interior a little bit. We got a couple USB-C ports, water bottle holders. Look at this. Physical climate control, buttons and dials. This is it. This is kind of the heyday of Mercedes interiors.
It's peak.
Peak, yeah, peak interior. Not a huge fan of this touch pad right here, but you can also just use your finger. That's fine too. Wireless CarPlay. It's quick, connects nice and reliably. We've got all of our settings in here, comfort settings, ambient lighting, massaging seats. You guys know the deal. We got a performance display here, which is kind of cool. And then you can control all of your drive modes down here on the steering wheel, as well as right here. So this is kind of like the old GT63. The coupe, all this stuff was pushed back. You could have to like contort your wrist to control it all, but this is slightly better ergonomics.
This is so I can change your drive modes.
That's right.
Co-driver. This is the co-driver's drive mode settings, and your settings are on the steering wheel.
Let's start this car off in comfort mode though, because that's kind of how it begins when you press that engine start button. And I think we're gonna drive around on electricity for a little bit.
Sounds good.
On a full charge, this says you'll get around 8 or 9 miles in EV mode. In reality, it's probably a little bit less than that, depending on the speeds that you're doing, but you can drive this around a little bit as a plug-in hybrid in full EV, and it's got a decent amount of power because you have a 200 horsepower electric motor.
That's right.
In the rear. So let's try that out.
And the best part about this being a plug-in hybrid is you avoid the gas guzzler tax.
That's right. This is a EPA compliance car.
Yes, indeed.
With 800 horsepower, over 1,000 pound-feet of torque.
V8 motor.
I love it. It's like, okay, EPA, we'll make you a hybrid and EV, and we'll also make something for the enthusiasts. I love it. This makes kind of a strange EV groan at lower speeds. No revs. And actually, we're going to switch to a different gauge cluster design here so we can see this a little bit easier. We're going to go to our classic gauge cluster. We have a bit of a power meter right here. Yeah, in EV mode, this is plenty of power.
Oh yeah.
The battery depletes very quickly in EV mode.
It's got a lot of weight to move around.
Yeah, but it also recharges very quickly too. And you can do that either by plugging it in or putting it in race mode. We're going to go back into our Super Sport gauge cluster because that is kind of fun. One interesting thing here with this Super Sport gauge cluster is that you have a little torque display right here and a horsepower display, but it only maxes out at 664 pound-feet of torque and 630 horsepower. To get your electric motor display, you have to go into this screen and you can see them add up and kind of combine. So let's see what that's like. We've already got temperature in the engine in the car. Good morning. 9-speed, multi-clutch automatic. Properly quick.
Takes your breath away.
It really does. There's a lot of power here.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound as dramatic as the GT63S that we just had. Or I guess that was just the regular
GT63, yeah,
Yeah.
the coupe.
But it's really fast, and there's power everywhere. Immediately.
Yeah.
It feels like an EV.
The way you can power out of corners in this car is unbelievable.
We also are testing a Hyundai Ioniq 5N this week, and these cars feel surprisingly similar in terms of power.
I believe it.
And the 5N has little shift points that it, simulates, except this sounds better because it actually has a V8.
Yes.
It's an interesting driving experience. It seems to be pretty well tuned, pretty well calibrated. The transition from electric to gasoline happens seamlessly. Let's drive around here in comfort a little bit. Smooth shifts from that 9-speed. And it really quiets down when you're just kind of cruising casually.
Yeah. The biggest source of noise is these Cup 2s, which are fresh.
They are brand new tires.
They're a noisy tire.
Yeah.
But this actually has the acoustic comfort pack, so this has a little bit more sound deadening and like the kind of glaze on the windows. To
Okay.
keep the sun and noise out.
That's nice.
So it's an optional extra, which you can see in the description.
And you can drive this in electric mode at higher speeds.
Yes, you can.
70 miles an hour, stuff like that. Front end is so sharp. There is so much grip here, Christopher. You can also put this into drift mode. I don't think that's a good decision today because it is a little bit chilly out and we are on Cup 2s.
Yeah.
But if we were on a racetrack, we would, just because we could.
I love the you get from the turbos.
Yeah, some good boost noises.
Yeah.
Brakes feel fantastic. Just so much power from so few revs. It's insane.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind a little bit more drama from the exhaust.
I agree.
This kind of reminds me of the Audi RS7. It's refined, it's mature insanity.
Yes. That's a good way to put it, actually.
Especially after getting out of that GT63, which was so rowdy last week. I loved that car. That's one of my favorite cars I think I've driven all year. It was just phenomenal.
Yeah.
This does combine some EV noises with that V8. And you said outside this kind of makes some louder noises.
Oh yeah, when you
In
pulled
EV
off
mode.
yesterday from the house, it was like an alien was leaving in a spaceship.
That's cool.
Yeah, so it projects it. When you're in a parking structure, it's like, sounds like some kind of alarm is going off.
Yeah, you don't hear it as much at speed. It's kind of that below 25 mile an hour sound that warns pedestrians that, hey, I don't have an engine, so hear me a different way.
Yeah.
They just repaved this section of road, so it's super rough and loud, but usually this is pretty quiet at speed. There's a lot of insulation here, and that probably, adds to the fact that this doesn't really sound that rowdy too.
Yeah, on the highway, it was a really quiet experience.
How's the sound system?
It's great. Burmester.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, good amount of refinement here. I think it's probably a pretty tricky endeavor to tune and calibrate everything going on here, but the complexity between the electric motor and the engine and the gearbox, and they've done a good job. This feels like a very finished and well calibrated product.
Yep. I only had a couple small hiccups, like in stop and go traffic. Sometimes when it was switching between electric and ICE, if it was, say it was between second and third gear, it would freak it out because then it would fire the engine and immediately have to change gear.
Okay.
But 95% of the time, the transitions are very smooth, as you say.
Like right there, I just rolled into it. It figured it out, knew what rev it needed to be at. Yeah, the crazy thing is just the throttle response that you get out of something like this. It literally feels like you're driving an EV.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Good steering feel, really sharp chassis. It's funny, these GT63s are actually pretty hardcore dynamically. I think in the class, that's probably the most raw to drive option.
Yep, I'd agree with that.
Yeah. Just the level of sharpness, the responsiveness that you get here. This is not a car that is going to isolate you from all of your road imperfections, your noises. I mean, you're on Cup 2, so that pretty much tells a little story right there.
Yeah.
All right, let's do a launch control here. We'll do it on this nice, smooth section of pavement.
Little patch.
Yeah. Oh, a little bit of a
There
jut
you go.
there.
See, sometimes
Okay.
you get that. With the brakes. Wow.
Insane. Insane.
I love the drama from Mercedes race starts because it tensions the seatbelts.
It does. Yeah, it gives you a little hug.
It's like you're about to take off on some crazy roller coaster.
That's really something.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's my intestines are in a different place than they were 10 seconds ago.
Your whole inner ear kind of does a somersault too.
Yeah.
That's wild.
You start to question what's reality.
Yep.
I like too that it's easy to lock yourself into manual mode too, like either with the switch or the
That's right.
steering wheel.
Yeah, the paddle shifters are great. The gearbox isn't the most responsive 9-speed from AMG, but it gets the job done. I mean, there's just maybe in manual mode.
The gaps are kind of filled too by the electric motor.
That's true, they are. No, that's a good point.
Yeah.
All right, we're in manual mode now. Oh yeah, it's banging off shifts quicker in manual mode.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Turbo boost noises. Let's do a test. 2,000 RPM, 5th gear. All right, it's not like the E-Ray where it just rockets off, but 4th gear, 2,500 RPM.
Oh yeah.
It feels pretty good. I love that turn. All right, we'll go back into drive here. What else, Chris?
Well, I sat in it for 8 hours, actually probably longer because the way back took like 6 hours. But the actual seats themselves are quite supportive, and the best part about it is the lumbar adjustment is not in the infotainment. It's on the side of the seat.
There we go.
It's
That's
physical.
what we want.
So when your back starts to hurt after a couple of hours, which the seats are quite supportive, but there's no getting around. Like after 2.5 hours, you get a bit sore. You can give yourself additional back support.
I think if you just have one garage space and 200 grand, this is the best daily driver / supercar you could get.
It really is.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and you can take 3 friends with you.
Yeah. Yeah, you can slide it around in real drive mode, throw winter tires on it, and dominate the snow.
Oh my gosh, this in the snow would be so nuts.
It does have air suspension. You can raise the level of this. You can increase the ground clearance.
Yeah.
If you need to drive in the winter or go off-roading in your GT63.
It's good. You get the tow-away alarm enabled.
And it's a lift back, which is just cool.
Practical.
Also,
yep.
Yep.
You do lose a little bit of space with that battery in this e-performance car, but I think it's worth the sacrifice.
I think so too. Let's do one more launch control, just because.
Might as well.
Yeah. I feel like you could drive this for a little while and just become numb to what fast cars actually are. It's just, it's insane.
Yeah.
And the best thing is, you You could bring your whole family along for the ride.
Yes. And everyone gets their own bolstering.
That's right.
So they're not flying around in the back seat.
They're gonna need it.
Yeah. Suppose we can ditch the coffee today.
I think so.
The car's done it.
It isn't a painful experience, though. I mean, sometimes there are cars like this that have a lot of performance, and they kind of hurt you
That is true.
with that performance. That's not the case. I'm still comfortable.
Yeah.
I still feel somewhat cosseted.
It's pretty effortless, too.
It is.
All right.
All right. No burbles.
Not really. You get a couple little, like, singular pops occasionally.
Right there.
There was one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it goes. That's it.
EV on the highway. Everything shuts off. That's insane to me.
Yeah. It's quite the piece of technology, this car.
How's the driving assistance tech?
It's excellent. It's okay. I'm glad you brought that up because that was like honestly my favorite part about driving this car in Chicago. The lane keep assist does a great job, and the adaptive cruise does not feel nervous. You can not fly up disrespectfully on someone, but you know you can get some distance, and you can change lanes, and the car doesn't slam on the brakes mid-lane change.
It's great. It blends that differential nicely.
That's right, and it has lane change assist. That all you have to do is tap the turn signal, and the car will change lanes. You don't have to have your hand on the wheel. You don't have to hold the turn signal.
It's doing it.
Yeah.
Very smoothly.
Yeah.
And seamlessly, like I would do as a driver.
Exactly. Lane change to the left, as you can see there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, that's fantastic.
It's just, this is like kind of peak highway driver aids, I think, in this car. And it made the trip to Chicago, like, barely had to drive, just did most of it.
That's great.
So,
and you just have to keep your hand on the wheel. It'll just sense your energy.
you actually don't even have to have your hand on the wheel to change lanes.
Oh, okay, but like to just keep the steering assist
It'll let you go like 20 seconds.
Really? Okay, that's pretty good. So you can just kind of sit here.
Hand on the steering.
It didn't seem to prompt you to put your hand on the wheel if your hand was already on the wheel.
No.
Good.
It's never.
It's even slowing down for this roundabout.
Yeah.
It knows what's going on.
It knows, yeah.
It's slowing down too much. We would be approaching this at 60 miles an hour.
That's right.
That's because we're not in Sport Plus mode.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's an impressive package, kind of on all fronts.
It just does everything. Ooh, I love it, Christopher.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Given all of that, is it worth buying this over the GT63 internal combustion engine package? I really, really, really loved the two-door coupe GT63 we had a couple weeks ago.
The only thing we're missing here is the drama.
Yes.
From the exhaust. So and you probably could, to an extent, kind of tune some of that in. I don't know if you know how much you'd really be able to do as far as like ECUs being locked and things with this being so kind of technical with the plug-in hybrid aspect and stuff. But if you simply want to like rip the ground to shreds and just go so fast, then I think it's really not that much more expensive in the grand scheme of things.
It isn't, no.
So like,
and you could sneak away, you know, in complete silence.
Yeah, and
early on in the morning.
That's right, and you could drive this to certain European city centers that require you to have a plug-in hybrid.
That's right. The one thing I'll say is that there are some kind of harsh starts in this at city speeds. The throttle tuning, the throttle calibration,
very touchy.
Is kind of touchy.
Yeah, oh yeah. Oh, couple burbles.
All right, maybe Sport Plus is the jam. All right, Sport Plus, that's what it is.
Yeah. Still not as rowdy as the coupe, but
no, but we have more sound insulation here.
That's true.
It does still sound really good. I like how in race mode it doesn't give you those burbles, but it's pretty good.
It's so serious in race mode. No time for silly burbles.
Getting totally jaded over how fast this thing is. It's ridiculous. Let's go into electric mode. And even when you are in EV mode, it will turn on the engine if you need it.
You can push through it.
Yeah. It'll just throw you into comfort. I'm impressed. This is really good. This is very, very well done.
Oh, yeah.
And considering that it's all kind of packaged in this older body style and interior, makes it so cool because this is what I prefer. I would rather have this than the screen overload.
Yes. Yeah, this is the perfect amount of screen and button ratio.
Yeah. I think if you're a bit more of a purist, you got to just go for the internal combustion engine setup. But if you want something that makes spaceship noises and can drive in EV mode and can just rip your face off and 3 other people's faces off, this is the jam. I'm very impressed. Okay. Well, that's a drive in the GT63 SE Performance. In my GT63 video, I was talking about, it'd be great if we could get into the SE Performance powertrain soon, and Charlie...
It's a major ASMR.
Yeah, I know. Some serious sticky tires here. Yeah, Charlie pulled out all those stops and booked us this kind of last minute. So
yeah, so it was because I was going to a celebration of life in Chicago for a gentleman that was a big Mercedes enthusiast.
Yes.
And was looking for any sort of flagship Benz that we could get our hands on, and this is what Mercedes hooked us up with. So
that's awesome.
It worked out really well.
Very, very cool. I'm really glad we got a chance to be behind the wheel of this. I have a feeling that this is probably still like, even the internal combustion engine GT63 would still be a little bit more subdued than the GT63 Coupe, just because that is a sports car. This is the 4-door sedan. But honestly, the performance isn't that far off between the two.
No.
You don't feel the extra 1,000 pounds here, like I thought you would. You just don't. It's all tuned and just developed accordingly. Impressive.
I've never driven another 5,200 pound car that feels like this.
Well, wait until the new M5 comes out, I guess.
Yeah, jeez, for real.
But yeah, I mean, for now, this is fast, but it's also engaging. It's also fun. It feels raw. It feels exciting, but it doesn't beat you up. It's not too harsh, too hard. I think this is kind of that perfect blend, that sweet spot.
I agree.
Yeah, cool. All right, well, we just burned almost a quarter tank of fuel.
Yeah, we did. We said 147 miles when we started the video. It's down to 90 miles now.
In race mode, this absolutely devours gasoline. It's ridiculous. Like, best case scenario, you're going to get 22 miles to the gallon. We're probably going to get around 13 in normal driving.
Probably.
Yeah, just because this is a thirsty boy. Unless if you're doing shorter trips around town and you can use that 7 or 8 miles of EV range, which might come in handy. Who knows?
Yeah.
But the plug-in hybrid nature of this is intended for insane performance, not efficiency, and a little bit of compliance too, which I like. It's kind of a, sticking it to the man type of compliance vehicle.
And it's an AMG, so the fans will continue to run for about a half an hour.
That's right, good. It'll heat your garage in the winter. What are our tire sizes here? 315 30 R21s. Carbon ceramics, all 4 corners. And in the front we have 275 35 R21s. Look at these brakes. A brake setup that actually fills up a 21-inch wheel. Proper stuff. Cool, well.
I'm awake.
I'm awake now.
The badge on the back is red.
Oh yeah.
It's the S.
The S.
And every S now is an E-Performance.
Okay, cool.
So, we can show this now.
Oh yeah. And it has this extra step here to open it up. And I guess that does have a weather seal, because this isn't weather sealed, and maybe that's necessary, but it would be nice if that closed with this all together instead of keeping this from closing. So it's just another step there. And if you are, plugging this in often for that 8 miles of range, you're going to be using that quite a bit. But
get used to backing into your garage.
Exactly. It is a good looker.
It's a cool thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of want to see it in high mode. Yeah, let's raise the suspension up, see what it looks like. Raise level.
It's going. Let's stay at it.
All right, so here it is in high mode. It's pretty good ground clearance. That'll get you through some deep snow. Yeah, not bad. And the advantage to this over any AMG SUV is that it doesn't feel heavy. It drives amazing. It's still aerodynamic. It's still exciting and fun. All the AMG SUVs I've driven, they're good, but they feel heavy. They're not as fast,
Yeah.
and they don't have the dynamics of a sedan or a four-door coupe. Cool. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Go check out Chris's channel at TheTopher Drives.
Yes.
You've probably already posted your road trip video of this by the time this goes live.
Perhaps.
Yeah. So, did you do a road trip video or did you just do a review?
Okay. I did a full-fledged road trip video.
Sweet.
So
Awesome.
It'll have, the normal Emily and I going on a trip.
Great.
Thing, so.
Cool. All right. Thanks so much for watching. We will see you guys in the next video. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. That was a treat, and thanks to AMG for loaning this to us last minute. Maybe we'll get a chance to drive the coupe version someday.
That is going to be like the fastest car we've ever
Oh
driven.
my gosh, it's going to be
the
insane.
same powertrain, but 1,000 pounds lighter.
Yeah, that's right.
So crazy.
Well,
it'll probably be like 600 pounds lighter.
Yeah.
The motor will add some weight.
I mean, this is a substantially larger car.
Yeah.
There's
still, it'll
two more
be
seats and everything.
wild.
Yes, it will. And if you get it in this color, bees are attracted to it.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Yeah. In every location too. There were like bees in the city of Chicago finding this car. So it doesn't make any sense. I
Well-
love the yellow stitching also.
Oh, yeah. These
Go
come
to
twos are just...
sleep.
These tires are insane. Yeah, so if you have 200 grand and you're allergic to bees, maybe pick a different color.
Yeah. Luckily, lots of other excellent colors are available.
Yeah.